The Invasion of Predator Teachers by my boy Halal, man. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that like nowadays, bro, it's just like so common. I don't know why, it's just so weird to me. Like, I don't remember hearing this, you know, back when I was growing up at school, especially in elementary school, middle school, I was not hearing these cases. Maybe they were happening. The fact that it's increasing with female teachers is kind of insane too. A part of it is because it's not shunned enough in society, you know, like, okay, yes, they do get put on the offender list, whatnot, but I'm talking about in general in society. Yes, people will say it's bad, but like, we all know damn well there's a difference between like if it's an older male teacher with a younger female student versus like an older female teacher with like a male student, bro, like a teenage student. A lot of the part of that problem though is from men too. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, a lot of y'all is freaks. Y'all know how the comments be like. They'd be like, man, I wish that was me, bro. Oh my god, like, why was he even complaining? And then it's like some fucking 12-year-old kid with like a teacher that's like 40, bro. I don't know about y'all, but I don't think I would have found that satisfying when I was 12 years old. I would not find it satisfying to be with somebody that was like 40 or 50. I'd definitely be looking back at it like, yeah, that was pretty fucking strange, and you know, I'm traumatized from it. But yeah, like, every time I feel like you're just seeing new cases nowadays. Like, there was just some body cam footage of like that was released of a female teacher getting arrested for, you know, that exact crime, and she's literally acting like the victim. Bro, it was the most insane thing I've ever seen. She was like,
please, my life, my daughter can't act like this.
You should have thought of that. And her husband was in the car, by the way, and saw it all. Bro, like, you was a grown adult doing this, bro. Even for me, bro, I'm 22. I wouldn't even want to mess with somebody that's like 18, bro, because it's like, I don't know, you just too young for me. I don't know, bro. And then every time I get older, bro, and I just think of like people being older, being with somebody like way younger, like to the point where they're just like pushing it and telling me, I'm just like, ugh. It's just so odd to me. Anyways, let's go ahead and see this video.
Back when I was a child in high school, the most controversial thing that took place at my institute was a teacher being caught with, let's just say, graphic.
Damn, that happened at your school a lot. Nah, that never happened to me, bro. That's fucking crazy though. There's probably some of y'all watching this, there was like an incident at your school that's known. It didn't happen. I will say in my middle school, there was always this one older teacher that would like low-key rub the kid's shoulders. He would do it to male and female students, but apparently one of the female students got like uncomfortable and reported it. And at first when I was younger, I was like, wait, why is he gone for a year? He got put on leave for a year and then he came back a year later. Kind of crazy they bring him back or whatever, but he would like kind of like massage people's shoulders. And I'm thinking of it now and I'm like, damn, that's really fucking weird. I don't know why he was doing it. He never did it to me, but he did it to one of my friends, and I don't know, at the time nobody cared or whatever, but kind of a strange activity for a teacher to do. I don't know.
Imagery of young individuals on his hard drives. Tons of it. Now, I did not have this instructor. A friend of mine actually did though, and they always told me like how shocking it was to find out this happened because that teacher was such a nice, cuddly, warm, amazing, good dude. Fast forward a little bit because I went to 2 different high schools actually, and in my other high school, a similar case happened, but except this time, the teacher had a real physical encounter with the student. And soon after that, I remember thinking, am I cursed? Do I have like cursed energy? Do I have the freaking 9-tailed fox inside of me? I don't know. Freaking kryptonite? I don't even know if that's how it works. I still gotta watch the Superman. Heard it was a good movie. But anyways, one of my middle school teachers actually had an entire wall with just a bunch of pictures of girls from the previous graduating class. Very fishy. Come to find out, I'm not actually cursed, and this is a very common experience. As a matter of fact, this happens so often that I ended up seeing an edit. Like,
bro, the thing is, there may be cases of like just like male teachers being wholesome, maybe just like they've liked a specific class or whatever, so they have. Hey guys, Tom NFG here. Did you know only half of you guys are subscribed and even less of you guys have noties on? I hate to be a burden, but you know, I really appreciate it if you hit that sub button and the little bell next to it. You know, it doesn't take long. I know you can get mixed up in the algorithm and everything. But yeah, also tune into the streams. You know, we have a lot of fun over there. I'm telling you, we have a lot of parties going on over there. Yeah, that's it. Bye. Damn. That class like saved, but especially as a male teacher, bro, that shit just not gonna slide in society nowadays, bro. And you know, it sucks, man. It sucks. I'm gonna be real. Like, yeah, we used to have like a male teacher or whatever. He was like really cool with all the kids essentially, and I'm pretty sure he kept like a booklet or like the yearbook of all the kids or whatever that he with, and like the yearbook for that year and the students, and nobody found it weird. And I know bro isn't a weirdo or anything, but man, if some people found out about that, especially online, they'd be like, bro, like, you know, that's a little bit of a red flag right there.
A couple minutes ago about male teachers when it comes to being gay, a PDF, or being the greatest teacher you'll ever have, because I guess being the
greatest teacher, it'll either be a history teacher or a motherfucking, I don't know, like history teacher or science teacher.
PDF is that common, and I'll let y'all see the edit because, you know, it's LeBron James. Hey, there are plenty of posts like this, which I might play some examples for you.
Yes, I hate my life. Yes, my students make fun of me. Yes, I will give you a 0 for your late assignment that was turned in a minute after class. Yes, I will give you the worst seat possible.
Now, after seeing posts like the previous ones, I ended up thinking, how common is this actually? It is estimated that about 10% of students will experience educator misconduct by the time they graduate high school. The term misconduct is relatively broad, and it encompasses a variety of behaviors, including verbal, comments, jokes, exposure of parts, sharing.
Crazy thing is, these be grown-ass people with families, too. That's what makes it worse, bro.
Wild images, crazy physical behaviors like touching, fondling, and all the, you know, extremely disgusting stuff. Which that means 1 in every 10 students will have reported some type of inappropriate incident. I don't know how big your classes were. In my schools, they were about 30 people per classroom, which means about every classroom, about 3 students will have had relations with a grown teacher. Now, some more interesting statistics regarding the studies. 11% of recent high school graduates have been victims. More specifically, 89% of the accused educators were males. 63% of incidents involved teachers, and 19% involved coaches and gym teachers. Coaches and gym teachers, bro. It was always gym teachers and like history teachers who were weird. I don't know. Something about them gym teachers, they be teaching us stretches and then they'll go to like the girl side. It was weird, bro. It was weird. Another article I seen from business.
Yeah, I never had a gym teacher that would do that, but I've definitely heard of that. I mean, I don't know. They got to do like more proper vetting for that shit, because that is a very like easy job a creep could get. Because first off, you know, out of all like the jobs to be a teacher, not a lot of people even choose like gym teacher, because you know it's probably the least pay. Like you don't really get paid a lot like that, but you don't really got to teach much anyways. And it's like you have access to like these students, bro, that are underage, and I don't know, you have like a specific responsibility you have to have, and a lot of creeps will look at that, bro, and try to get a job like that, you know? Think that'd be like a common thing they do.
Insider says that they conducted an analysis of 388 disciplinary records of educators accused of misconduct. Of the 388, only 166 contained evidence that administrators conducted a thorough investigation on. So out of that 166 that they actually conducted an investigation on, only 4 of them were determined to be false accusations, which proves that false accusations don't happen nearly as much as, you know, actual real incidents, let's be honest. And out of those,
yeah, that's true, especially in teaching. I don't know how many students are reporting a teacher falsely for some shit and trying to like smear them or accuse them. And like other things, maybe it's a higher thing, but even then, like the false accusation thing is always going to be lower than the actual like real accusation that happened.
54 cases resulted in no disciplinary action. Not enough. Damn. We don't care.
Bro, and then nowadays it's worse. Y'all gotta think of it, bro, because like teaching is such like the demand is way higher than the supply. Like nobody's trying to be a teacher, bro. Teachers are quitting at like a high like rate. I think that's literally why they're trying to implement AI in schools and shit and trying to teach kids about AI, because eventually, bro, I feel like it'd be like half of their teachers for their classes is gonna be AI. They're not even gonna be getting taught by an actual teacher, and if it is, it'll just be a person reviewing what the AI taught them and be like, all right, what did you learn from the AI, this and that, give a review. And that's how it's gonna be, bro. It's sad, but that's how it's gonna be. But yeah, it's definitely way worse now, and it's like they may not even be able to let go of that teacher in that time, bro. They're gonna have to hire substitute teachers and shit, which is probably gonna cost more than like the average teacher's salary for an hour, because subs get paid a lot, believe it or not, like because you know they're subbing in for somebody. It's kind of like an emergency thing they have to do, so it's gonna be way harder for them to do it, man. Legally they would have to do it, so eventually they could only do it for so long until they get caught.
School board, we don't care. Principal, we don't care. 52 of them were reprimanded or briefly suspended. Brief suspension. My employee, my teacher, my colleague.
Yeah, that's what happened to my middle school teacher. I think he got briefly suspended for like 6 months or a year.
To some underage individuals, don't do it again, all right?
Allegedly. I'm assuming, because, you know, he was kind of gone. He was massaging people's shoulders, then he was gone for like a year, and then we saw him like later, and we were like, oh, what happened? He was like, school was just messing around.
We'll see you next week. Make sure you have the lesson plan ready by Monday. Wow. That's a very harsh punishment. Cruel and unusual punishment, man. How dare you give them this much punishment? They shouldn't even been suspended at all, man. Obviously not. 10 were reassigned to new positions. Wow, what a PR move. You got caught in the act? God damn it, man. I like you, man. I liked you. Okay. You can't be a teacher? You know what?
Nah, they just had to shift them around. They're like, all right, you can't be around these kids. So here's a new set of kids you could be around. There you go, problem solved. That is pretty much what they're doing, though. They're just putting them in front of a new set of kids. They're like, all right, don't mess around with these kids now. You messed around with these kids, but don't mess around with these kids.
You could be a TA, be the teacher's assistant, or you know what? Vice principal. I like that. I don't like that. 120 were allowed to retire or resign. So they're just like, all right, bro, just go ahead and retire, bro. We're not gonna prosecute you. Chilling with your feet kicked up, drinking a pina colada on the beach.
Yeah, I feel like that's even with like most cases. Like even when police will corrupt police, bro, a lot of time they'd be like, all right, man, like just leave, you know what I'm saying, on your own accord, and then we won't charge you. They're like, oh no, that's my man's, like that's my bro, we've been doing this for years or whatever. I can't dare do that to my man's. Which is like, no, you can do that, and you should.
60 of them were terminated, and the remaining outcomes were not disclosed, aka they are all in the White House. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't know where they are. They're not disclosed. I don't know where they are. They're not disclosed. Brief intermission. If you're enjoying the video so far, please make sure you sub to the channel. We're on the road to 200,000 subscribers.
Hey, man,
also make sure you sub to the second channel right here. Hey hello, we're at 29,000, almost at 30k, so it would be awesome if you sub to that channel as well. Should be linked in the description or pinned in the comment section section down below. Some other crazy statistics in case you're already not on the same page as me. It was a 53% increase for SA cases and a 99% increase from R word cases since 2016. It was found that only 6% of students
99% increase, bro. What is going on in society? God damn.
Actually officially reported the educator. So a lot of times students will go through stuff, and because they're young, because they don't know better, they don't really know what's right and what's wrong, or they just don't know how to go about it, or they don't have a trusted parent, guardian, or close friend group to really report this to. A lot of times it seems like these educators go scot-free. And this perfectly explains what I was talking about, because a man who's now 18 says that a teacher was abusing him for years, gave him alcohol, money, other gifts.
Wow.
And in the caption here, it says the misconduct began in 2021 when the boy was 14. Nonetheless, she was able to walk around free for an extra 4 years without actually getting reported. Some more important information that I do not want to...
Bro, and it's just crazy to me too, like these female teachers, because like, bro, I be seeing some of them, I'm like, damn, like you don't look bad. Like, it's not like you can't get any male attention, bro. We're not gonna compare what men have to do to get women compared to what women have to do to get men, bro. It's not even close to the same, bro. Nigga, you could go on a dating app as a woman, bro, you get like 100 fucking likes and like a date, you know what I'm saying? I especially get confused when they're more attractive. I'm like, bro, like what the it makes no sense to me. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Forget to mention is that a lot of times when people are younger, minors, whatever, will wait from 3 to 18 years to actually report on said case, which is on average.
Yeah, because they don't feel comfortable. Or, bro, in that time, they might think it's like cool, bro. That's what niggas don't understand, bro. In that time, they might be like, hey, I'm balling. You know what I'm saying? I'm fucking piping the teacher. Like, I'm good. And then they grow up and they're like, damn, like, this was a little bit weird. Like, why? Wait, this is odd. This is strange.
About a decade or so. So a lot of times you see these percentages and they're really high, right? Like, oh, trust me when I tell you it's a lot higher than that, bro. Because add up all the ones that are undocumented, all the cases that are, you know, untalked about, the ones
not
that are
reported
swept under the rug.
And oh my god, in college, bro, it can get reported, but bro, it happens a lot more in college. Like, you can get away with it because I mean you're over the legal age, you know. Unironically, that meme where like the professor's like, oh, you want an A, you're gonna have to work for that A, that literally be happening, bro.
You know, we keep it on hush mode. I wouldn't be surprised if you double it, give it to the next person, you know. That 1 out of 10 might really be like 2 to 3 out of 10. Is that crazy to say? Oh, by the way, that only counts like talking, touching, but if you want to count like cheese pizza or, you know, inappropriate imagery, that's probably a whole different other statistic that we didn't really combine into one. Also, the statistic that we read earlier was that this is mostly men, 89% to be exact, but I definitely did see a lot of like incidents in my schools with kind of suspect behavior coming from women teachers. If you're a girl, maybe you can relate, because I've seen it firsthand where it's like younger English teacher and she's like low-key flirting with the athletes while also like talking down to the girls in the classroom.
Bro, there's that whole meme where like it'll be like the female teacher and then it'd be like, I don't know, the student would be like,
Derek, stop!
and then she's like rubbing his shoulders. Yeah, it's definitely been on the rise for female teachers, I would say, in like the past 5 or 6 years. Like, the amount of stories I see is insane every day.
I don't know. It's like a weird dynamic. And recently I've been seeing an uprising in a lot of like women PDFs. For example, high school teacher is facing charges of having a relationship with a 16-year-old student. And of course, in the comment section, where the hell were these teachers back in the...
It's the thing is like this, bro. Like, what are you talking about, bro? And the thing is even with her, bro, she's not even like unconventionally attractive, so I don't understand, bro. Go outside, bro. Go to the club and just meet some dude and, I don't know, let him crack or some shit. Why are you talking to your student?
3,000 likes, you know, just glorifying crazy behavior. But unfortunately, you're a dumbass who weren't raised properly by 2 loving parents, isn't very smart, is low IQ, and deserves to get smacked.
I'm gonna assume, if I'm being nice, that those guys are just joking. They don't actually mean it. But I don't know. Then again, bro, I don't know. There'd be a lot of niggas that is freaks and don't really care.
Get ahead. This boy might have had the best day of his life, and this is a woman. Too pretty to be messing with kids. As if, like, you gotta be ugly to do it. Is it like, okay, if you're ugly, it's fine, but if you're pretty, you know, you can't. There's a married teacher in Florida who was accused of being with that...
It's like, it's strange, bro. When you see somebody more attractive doing it, it's like, why are you even doing that, bro? Like, because when it's somebody unattractive or fucking chopped, you're like, you probably didn't have a lot of choices anyways. Not even like, still shouldn't do it anyways, obviously. Still shouldn't fucking do it. But it's like more of like a, what? Why are you doing it? You know, it's like a difference between seeing like, I don't know, Kim Kardashian or some shit doing somebody versus like fucking Gorlock the Destroyer or some shit.
10-year-old in a classroom during lunchtime for an entire year. Yuck, yikes. And then married teacher,
and then now they're gonna be like, when it's somebody unattractive, they're like, nah, she chopped, like that dude is crazy or whatever.
Accused of having relations with a student over 50 times, faces 60 years with new charges. A broke kid in high school has more leverage than a grown bill-paying husband. 60 years for what? Giving him the best years of his life. Let's be real, the student hit the jackpot. And I feel like these people have never really had an encounter with PDF, because I know people, men who were involved with women who were older and like they, 1, regret it, and 2, had trauma from it, bro. All these people were just glorifying it, being like, oh, big bro, he's so cool, he's so, you know, you're weird. And you also don't know what it's like, so why are you talking like that, bro? Do you understand how many undocumented cases go by every day? Day by day, these people scoot underneath the rug, and this person is being reported with 60 years. Why do you think that's happening? Because he publicly reported her. He was not having the time of his life. He was actually...
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, it could literally be a case of like the teacher took the dude and like forcibly raped him, bro. Bro, I'm telling you, if it looked like Kim Kardashian or somebody like fucking pretty, they'd be like, hey man, I wish that was me, haha.
Indoctrinated by society and told that he was supposed to like this, and then he found out this is wrong, and then he probably freaking reported it. Be wary, you never really know who's going through what and what's taking place unless you really know. But if you see suspicious behavior, please tell somebody something about it, bro. I didn't really understand what was suspicious, what was not, and what was normal and what was not. So I was like, okay, that's just how it is, I guess. This teacher just freaking bending over in front of people because I guess this teacher just wearing this type of weird outfit just because I guess. This teacher is being oddly nice to the athletes because I guess that's normal. And my freaking middle school teacher having a plaster of a bunch of girls on his wall who were all freaking 12 is all out of kindness, I guess. Now, as far as why this is happening, I don't really know too much. I have a couple inferences. To me, the immediate things that stand out about a teacher and a student, like the dynamic, is definitely like the power thing. You're looking up to, you know, the professor. As a professor, you know, you have all the control, so a lot of times the professor might feel that like dominance, as crazy as...
Bro, and I especially realize that as I get older too. Like nowadays, I mean, I'm doing pretty good monetarily, bro. If you have like your own place to stay or whatever, and then you're somebody younger that like, I don't know, you live with your parents, like a girl that's like, I don't know, like 16, live with your parents, you're like, damn, like he's really got everything or some shit. Really got everything, when in reality, grown men be paying bills and rent and shit. But that's how you see it, you know? That's how a lot of people see it and shit now. And now I realize, like, bro, like a lot of people use that as a leverage of power. Because in reality, when you're younger, you don't realize, like, you're gonna be doing that eventually anyways when you get older.
As it is, and feel like they need to assert that dominance. Besides, I don't know, freaking teaching the math problem properly, okay? Be dominant there, bro. Be dominant in making sure your students get the proper education, okay? Be dominant during the lesson planning, okay? Make a good lesson. As a matter of fact, the amount of freaking teachers I had that couldn't teach a proper lesson actually is infuriating. Don't let me get off topic. The education system is pretty underpaying, correct? I'm guessing they don't really do proper screening a lot of times. And let's face it,
bro, and nowadays it's way worse too. The screening is way worse. Like they let somebody with a degree that has nothing to do with teaching just in. Like you could have a degree in fucking, I don't know, think of the most random shit, water bending. And they'll let you be a science teacher. It's a shortage. They gotta let anybody in.
That's it, bro. You know what a PDF's dream is? An institution full of young individuals in one place. You know what that is? School. Literally school. Of course they're gonna come and be like, yeah, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. I'm gonna teach the class. And secretly,
bro, imagine all the teachers there that be doing some weird shit, but like they don't get caught. Like it's not obvious. Like maybe taking pictures of their students or something, or even just like staring at them weirdly, thinking of fantasies. Because I guarantee, added them on top of the criminals here, it'd be an extra like 20% of teachers or something.
You know, in their brain, they're like these, rubbing their hands and itching at the thought of, you know, being around people of that age. So naturally, of course, a place with a lot of, you know, young individuals, I'm thinking probably attracts, you know, people with that type of mindset. I also wonder if there has anything to do with like poverty. I feel like when it comes to crime in general, poverty plays a role, but when it comes to these type of crimes, I don't know if these are predominantly happening more in places that are low income or jobs that are low income versus people that are high income. I don't know if there's any correlation with that. I did find a Reddit post that said,
I don't even think that matters, to be honest. I mean, maybe usually in like more, you know, poverty ridden areas or whatever, stuff like that is more common, but you see them in like rich places, poor places, it don't matter, bro. It be happening.
Why has there been such an increase in teachers, students? Has it always been like that? Is it more common than I realized, or is it just some kind of increase in PDFs? It's always been that way. It's always been that way to an extent. A lot of the history was erased, but go digging and you'll find historical events of worse.
And imagine the times before social media and before it was like normalized to be like, all right, like you're a victim. Like even now it's like that where they'll be like, oh, you snitching or whatever. Why you snitching, bro? Like you're 12 and bro, you're living the dream. You're smashed like a 45-year-old teacher. Back then, bro, it's probably worse. They're probably like, nah, that's weird. Like why you? They're probably blame the dude. They'd be like, bro, that's weird, bro. Like come on, man.
Magnitude throughout the 20th century. I think that's probably true to an extent. It's probably always been that way to an extent. It's kind of interesting to know that like a lot of times people who go through these cases, they'll report them a lot later. Maybe it's been like that and then those cases are being reported now, and then the cases from right now are going to be reported later. You know, I think parents have been noticing it more, going through their kids' phones. Teachers are not even supposed to be texting students. Yeah, a teacher.
That's the crazy thing about it. Like the fact that some students literally have teachers' numbers. There was a couple students that did that in my school, you know. I always thought that was weird, bro.
Having the student's phone number already is a very high red flag. Like the only person I ever had in contact with was my coaches. Maybe it's in the news more. I graduated in 06 and 07. He apparently was giving his numbers to seniors until they graduated before hitting them up. I mean, he waited, but he still had to.
That's crazy, bro.
Attracted them prior to turning 18. Yo.
And see, the thing is, technically what he was doing, is that illegal? I don't know, because in a way, yeah, that is like waiting / grooming. I think it just depends on the way it went. Because, you know, if he's with them over time, establish a connection, whatever, if he just like gave them their number, waited until they were 18 and then hit them up, would that be be illegal? I don't even think it would be, which would be like, it's weird. Should be. I don't think it would be though.
What the heck? He was putting in reservations. When that one comes off the grill, it's mine. 17 years old and 365 days old. Yo, that's actually crazy. And the fact that that's technically considered legal and he can't be prosecuted for that? No, you're disgusting. But overall, it seems like most people are saying that this is just a thing that's being reported more on now versus not really an increase, which is weird though, because the studies we did read, it did say that there was an increase. Man, this definitely feels like something that's happening.
It definitely is an increase though, because social media, like, it's just easier to reach people
more. And it feels like something that is happening in every single school. Like, bro, odds are you watch this video, have had a teacher in your school doing the same crazy, freaky activities, same way I have, same way another person watching the video probably has, and same way another person in this comment section is commenting right now. You know, I relate. The fact that this is happening so much is honestly crazy, and what can we really do about it? I don't know. If you see suspicious behavior, report it. Would be nice if freaking school boards, you know, did annual checkups or something. I don't know what they do already to prevent it.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I don't know if they do that, but yeah, like, but then again, probably be like, teachers be like, yo, that's violating my privacy or something. They're like, yo, we gotta check your phone if you're like texting any students or some shit. I don't exactly know what they would do, to be honest. They probably would just have to rely on like a student telling them.
But that's gonna do it for today's video. Yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Do you think that there's been an uprising in, you know, weirdos in the school system? Have you noticed it? Has this happened in your school? What do you think needs to be done about it? If you think anything needs to be done about it at all, make sure you
okay, W video by law, man. Yeah, so hey, anybody younger watch me, you know, stay safe. Don't get tickled in your pickle or tickled in the I don't know what they call it. Like, I don't know what's a good like an analogy, the equivalent. Your peach? I don't know. Anyway, stay safe, you know. If you're watching it too, make sure to join the Discord and watch streams.
Subscribe to Tommy NFG.